Hi guys, only Mark. Really quick update. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. I've just really made it really simple. Not going to teach. This is not financial advice or anything like that. But if you're holding Bitcoin, I just want to show you, where we are. This is the weekly chart, and it's looking, it ain't looking great. So just to give you an idea, obviously we had this big jump from 3,900 bucks up to nearly $70,000. And since November, when we peaked, we've really experienced a pretty steep drop. If I just stick this on, let's just measure it. So to where we are today, we are 70%, minus 70%. Now let me just repeat that, minus 70%. To our actual wick low here, we went down nearly 71.6%, and maybe even a bit more. So the reason I'm showing you this is because, just to give you an idea of where we are, I'm a firm believer in following the money. And below this green, blue, whatever you can see down here, this is really interesting. Oh, excuse me, that notification. Yeah, so you can see here, the money is the green. When the money's in the green, there's grass on the lawn, so to speak, it's time to play. And that's time to buy Bitcoin, And when money's in the red, it means that money's coming out of the asset pair. This is BTC USD. You can see we've had this steep drop from the 60,000, and it's really been a pretty much downwards, outside of this little pip here, this little sort of baby turtle, this little green hump. We've had this pretty steep down. We've gone into the red. We went into the red when Bitcoin was at around 43, a little bit more. And since then, we've been going down. There is no weekly bullish case just yet. I've drawn these lines here just to give you an idea of where we could be going. What goes in a particular direction tends to continue. I do think we're going to come back and revisit 18, maybe 17 and a half. We'll see what happens then. The next level of interest is really down at 12 and a half. If we lose 12 and a half, the next area could be as low as, back down to this low here around about $4,000. Scary numbers. But like I said, we're on the weekly. We have the momentum has sort of gone into this really it's classed as oversold. So, we could experience some relief here. And the RSIs are really low as well. That's the relative strength. So how strong it is relative to previous prices. So you can see this relative strength is pointing pretty much straight down. There is a little bit of a curve here, starting to curve a little bit. Like I said, we are oversold. So what about upwards prices? Well, we could see a price back up to revisit the 25,000 zone, maybe a little bit higher into 30, but then really there's all this resistance. There's a lot of everything is resistance up here. 30 is going to be the next sort of big resistance level. So even if we come back up to 25, we can keep going upwards into the 30s. Into the 30 zone. We really need to break 30,000, and with conviction, i.e., have some daily candles close above it before we can start looking at movement upwards and try and clear this resistance up around about 30, 39, 40,000. And then even then, we need to clear this local high here at 48,200 before we could look to test higher prices back into the 50s, 60s, and all-time highs. So bullish case, we could see we're looking for 25,000 before we can look again. Bearish case, we're going to back down to revisit the low here at 17,500-ish. If we lose that, again, 12 and a half. If we lose that, like I said, it's a dive down to the abyss. So, not looking pretty. Like I said, this is the weekly candles. It takes a long time to play out. And just to give you an idea, if I put on the brush, yeah, and this money flow starts to come down here, and even if it curves back up, makes a nice sort of curve. This is September, before we could probably go back into the green. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I just wanted to give you an idea of where we are on the weekly. If I drop down to the daily, just to give us a taste of a little bit of hopium, I suppose, you can see we've bounced off this low here, as I said, around the 17,500 mark, 600 mark. We have got a little tiny bit of bullish divergence on the daily, but we are encountering this resistance ribbon. This is all moving averages, and we'd have to get above these moving averages, which would be 26.7, and even then we're then going to hit this 28s, 29s. It's all resistance. It's all looking, there's a lot to do. But RSI is a split here, and so no legs. There's just no legs at the minute. So we have popped up a couple of $100, but I just wanted you to get not too excited. Now, if I was a bull and my long-term position is to is that Bitcoin will go up. I think it will. Now, bear with me a second. Let me just find this tool. Bear with me. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to draw, I'm going to go back to the weekly. I'm going to draw a triangle from this line here down to the base. Okay, so if my long-term position is to buy an asset that I believe in long-term, then if I'm going to start to accumulate it, let's think I want to start building a position in Bitcoin in the long-term belief that we're going to at least revisit the 25,000 mark, or even the 30,000, possibly even the 40s. This is how I'm going to do it. So if I had 10,000 to spend, or even $1,000 to spend, here's how I would be looking at it. At this level here, I'd be looking to maybe invest $1,000. At this level here, I'd be looking to invest maybe, so let's say I had $1,000. At the first level here, I'd be putting maybe 200. Yeah, just maybe 20%. Oh, maybe 20%. At this level, I'd probably maybe another 20%. Yeah, another 20%. And then if it comes down to this level down here, that's probably where I'd be looking to put the rest, 60%. All right, so $200 at this sort of line here, $200 at this line here, 12.5, and if we did get back down to 3,000, 4,000, 60% at the 4,000 level. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get there, but this triangle, whether the base, if I believe it's going to go down to 4,000, that's a long way down. We may not get that low. If we did, I'd be excited to pick up Bitcoin at that price, for sure. If I want to change the triangle, if I believe that this is the base, so we're only going to go down to this base here, around 12,000, then I'd be looking to pick up Bitcoin. I'd rechange my percentages, and I'm probably looking at maybe 30% and then 70% at the 12.5. But I want to be buying it when it's low. That's the whole idea. And should Bitcoin do what Bitcoin does. We could come, so this is a zigzag, come down here, come back up, come down here, come back up, come down here. This is the kind of, when we get back up here, if we come back up here, and I've followed this 20, 60 strategy on the bigger triangle that I did earlier, that would give me some very nice returns. So I'm just sort of thinking where we're going to go. So this is how you accumulate on the way down. Okay, we're looking for obvious levels to accumulate where there was previous support, and you can see, or resistance. So you can see here, this line here at 12.5, 12.3 was respected as resistance once, here resistance again, and then obviously we broke it, but we've never come back down to retest it. So it would make sense to come back down and retest Bitcoin down here. I'm not saying it's going to do it, but if it did, it potentially would have a bounce back up into the back up to previous levels. I am expecting a retest of 30,000 at some point. So even if this low that we've just printed at 18 or 17 and a half, potentially we've come down to this line, and we come back up to retest this 25, but maybe even we come back up to retest 31,000 before we come back down to lower prices, 12,000. Maybe that's the route we're going to take, back up to retest this, and then big dips. So that's where we are. Not the greatest of news, and I appreciate that you're not traders, but I think this strategy here, where you're just looking for, if you're going to buy Bitcoin and you believe in Bitcoin long term, then think about this triangle strategy. Look for where the lows, the lows of the market are. These are value areas where the market has previously respected the low, this price. Look how it reacted when it hit this 4,000. It bounced right back up. I mean, it went from literally 4,000 all the way up to the all-time high. So accumulating, buying Bitcoin down here is makes sense. And I'm just giving you this triangle strategy. So as you're coming down, you're looking to accumulate. You got 10,000 that you want to invest. 2,000 at 18, 2,000 at 12 and a half. And if it comes down lower, pick up 6,000 at 4,000. If it goes down lower, then so be it. And you can, obviously there's plenty of time here, plenty of time. Don't be in a rush to jump into the markets thinking we've hit a bottom, because there could be a lot lower to go. Like I said, this is the weekly, and if I drop it onto the monthly, you can see on the monthly, the money flow is still coming down, and it's got a long way to go before it hits the zero line. A long way to go. So be wary, is what I'm saying. We could easily come down to this previous low here, and you can imagine there'll be a lot of people crying if they bought it up here. That drop, by the way, from where we are right now, doom and gloom, this, isn't it? Doom and gloom. But this drop from where we are right now, if we were to come back to this level, is another 80% drop. Is another 80% down from where we are today. Okay, food for thought. Have a great day.